My name is Annie, and recently I was asked that question. What are your future plans? Like, what are your plans for future? What do you want to do next? And when the person saw that I was struggling with any answer at all, they elaborated. What they said was, well, every single person has their own interests. The things that they are interested in, the things that they are engaged in, and all these interests, they form a circle of activities that a person might want to pursue, that might be fascinating for a person in the future. And these interests, they open a new way of doing things. Probably they open new paths for a person to do what they want to do. So what is your thing or things? What do you want to do? I still couldn't answer that question. And what I was thinking about was, I have a lot of interests. I have always had a lot of interests. At every single point in time, I have a lot of things I'm engaged in. I have a lot of things I'm interested in. True, they're different. Like, there are interests that are short-lived. I try it out. It just doesn't really work for me. It doesn't stick with me. I stop doing it. Then there are interests that stick long-term, that I have once tried, and then I'm still doing it up to this point. And then there are interests that evolve, so I have tried something from a certain sphere of activities, probably, and then I tried something close to that, and that stuck with me better. But there are always interests. The problem I had with answering that question was, like, every single interest that I thought about, I couldn't really make into plans. For example, there are some short-term goals, like learning how to cook a particular dish. And that's like done and over with. It gets done and it's past. It's not really a plan. It's not a plan at all. Then there are things like, I want to learn the piano, but I don't really have an instrument, and I don't really have money for the classes, and I'm too dumb to learn myself. Well, and I don't have the instruments. So that kind of comes down to a huge, well, money question, I guess, then time question, like, when do I do it, because it takes a lot of time if I want to do it properly. And these things, I kind of have them in mind, but they're put on hold because of some reasons. So I wouldn't exactly call them plans, because in my opinion, a plan is something you schedule for some point in time. So these things, the things that I kind of want to do sometime, they're not plans. And then there are interests like reading books, watching movies, I don't know, going to festivals or something, which are not plans at all, although they are interests. You cannot like plan to watch more movies. It's an understood thing, because if you like watching movies, you do watch them, and that is not a plan at all. And there I was, standing there, faced with a very simple question I had no answer to. And I was like, what are plans at all? The answer I gave back then was, I guess I don't really take a thing and make plans out of it. I rather do whatever comes up and whatever I'm interested in, and see what comes out of it. Like, what does it develop into? I don't plan the developments, I don't plan the directions I can go, but rather I just do the thing and whatever comes with it. Then I thought on that later on. Of course I did, because that was a thing I couldn't answer, and that wasn't a difficult thing. What made me sad at that particular moment when I got asked that question and I couldn't answer it was that if I don't have plans, does that mean I'm not aspiring to anything? Does that mean I don't want to reach anything? Because first of all, that's just sad. And secondly, it's just not true. Because there are things I want to become. There are things I'm heading towards. Like, maybe there aren't any particular things or particular goals, particular milestones that I want to reach, but I'm still somehow moving forward all the time. I work a lot on self-development, like that's pretty much the very basis of my motivation for anything. What was the problem with plans though? What I found out later was that the question I ask myself when choosing an activity is not what I want to do, but rather who I want to be. I know some aspects of my personality. For example, well, if we take languages, I do like foreign languages. I do love them so much with my whole heart. And that, at some point in time, brought me to learning, interpreting and translating. That brought me to teaching languages. That brought me to meeting a lot of awesome people, to partaking in, I don't know, concerts, tours, like traveling abroad, all kinds of things. If we take, for example, my passion for music, however like feeble and fickle it may sound even to me, because I don't really know how music is done, how music is made. I know very little about how it actually goes. I did take vocal classes for half a year or so. Didn't really work that well for me. Like, I learned a lot of things, but I still couldn't really understand how it's done. That's why I kind of wanna pursue it again at some point in time. But I do love music. I do love the way it sounds. I do love the voices. Oh gods, I love the voices. I love finding out and trying to think why I love a certain thing and why I don't love another one. And my passion for music in general brought me to trying to organize concerts, like trying to work with music bands, just generally trying to learn more about how music works and what music is there. And well, down to taking classes myself. So that's basically how I worked. I could never have thought, like, if I were asked several years ago, like, okay, so you like listening to different songs and different bands, so what are your plans for future with that? I could never have thought, and of course I couldn't have answered, like, that, for example, oh, I can try organizing concerts, I can try like working with musicians or something. And of course I couldn't ever have said that, or like determined whether it would have been interesting for me or not, because I only find it out when I'm doing it, when I'm actually doing it. It's like, yeah, I want to try it, but whether I'm interested in it or not is yet to be determined. And that's basically how I work. So the problem I had with the question about plans for future is that I don't really make plans. What I aspire is what I aspire to be, not what I aspire to do. And the only answer, like, if I am not describing it the same way I just did to you guys, the only answer I can really give is I wanna make more out of who I am. I wanna find more activities I can engage in that show who I am, that help me maintain and develop who I am. And that's basically my big, grand plan all the time. It's not even a plan, it's just a thing I do. It's just a thing I base everything upon. I mean the actions, of course, like the things that I do. So what I'm interested in, what I'm extremely curious to know is what motivates you guys? Like, do you make plans? What do you make plans for? Like some short-term plans, I do believe everybody makes them at some level. If you don't, do write it in the comment section below as well, because I do make some like daily plans. I need to do this, this and this, but that's just about it. What about you guys? Do you make long-term plans? How do you plan and what do you plan? Do you plan vacations or some grand events, some really important events? Do you plan paths in your career? Do you plan paths or goals for your interests? Do you work like me? Do you base your, well, plans or the direction you're going on something else? On your personality, probably on your relationships. I don't know. I can't even think of other options that are out there. So please, do write your opinion in the comments below. Oh, and also, if you liked this video, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel, because I would be really, really happy if you did. Expect a new video very soon. And until then, remember, everything will go wrong, and it's alright that way.